wanted to be part of it. It made me think about it, where like conspiracy theories develop from, and I imagine lots of it is like from false witness accounts of people who are just wanting to be part of the moment, like get carried away in the excitement of, in a weird, like narcissistic way, wanting to share in it. Because from what I understand, there's lots of people, like for instance, who, when 9/11 happened, claimed to have seen the first plane hit the tower, either on TV or in real life, and then like it comes out, nobody saw the first plane hitting the tower on the TV. So all these witness accounts are people who are either lying or mistaken.
It's a giveaway. When you encounter someone who exaggerates their own significance, you know that you're dealing with a fragile person who finds the reality of his own insignificance unbearable, and therefore is trying to create a scaffold of significance where there is no viable foundation for that significance. So someone earning $1 million a year has no need to make up a story of his own significance. All right, someone who's a professional athlete, someone who's dating, having sex regularly with a gorgeous woman, someone who has an esteemed position in his community has much less need to erect a false sense of significance because they have a real significance. But those of us who don't have that real significance that comes with being a star, we much more keenly feel that need to create a significance because the unbearable nature of our own significance is just so painful. I interviewed Andy Nowicki, and 3 or 4 years ago, he'd come out with a novel inspired by the COVID pandemic, and the interview didn't go so well. And for people who are losing at life, one of the principal ways that they comfort themselves in our sphere is that they are convinced that at least they see through the bullshit, right? While their peers, who may well be less intelligent than them, but who have marriages, who have children, who have mortgages, who have have a six-figure income, well, these guys are just careerists. They don't have the strength that I have to see through the bullshit. Like I just notice in myself this constant need to manufacture an angle by which I am an awesome man.
Fine. Certainly when you get into distant politics and you start getting red pill, you do really like pat yourself on the back as like a truth discoverer. And yes. and you may be discovering these things, whether they're true or not. You're discovering them on the internet and you're spending all your time doing that. But what you're not doing is maybe building the most successful life around yourself. But you look at other people who are normies, and we come up with these derogatory terms for them: NPCs, normies, blue-pilled people, and we say we're not like them. And we don't say we're not like them because we're poor and we're disenfranchised. We say we're not like them because they're closed-minded and we figured it all out.
My friends have PhDs, and say a friend who specializes in genocide, right? They are particularly eager to apply the label genocide to all sorts of things going on around them because they're trying to manufacture jobs, income, and prestige for themselves. And the other friends in mental health, they're eager to promote an expansion of definitions of mental health so that they can have more clients and power and prestige.
Elliot's dinner date, I get it wasn't the one who he wants the younger version. He said there was a moment during that dinner where she said it's a shame that they missed Trump, and he was aghast. He was, from that moment on, he couldn't look at her the same way, and he wanted to leave. And how many occasions, Luke, must we make the same mistake going around, and where we give our opinions, and how a man should be doing the job, or that men don't have men have penises and women don't, and other people silently dismiss us because of their like liberal priors. And how many opportunities we have forsaken like through doing this and not realized it because our normality, we just assumed.
There was this busty porn star who wanted to seduce me, and
Yeah.
we were going to end the evening in her jacuzzi, and she began our evening by us going out to dinner, and she ordered a ham salad, and even though she had big breasts and she was beautiful and she had a college degree in English literature, from that point on I could not do anything with her, and we went back to the jacuzzi. Everything was set for her to seduce me, and I could not go through with it. I didn't want to be rendered impotent by her eating ham, but it just happened to me. There were just numerous times when women would try to seduce me, and there would be something that would just put me off, and I just couldn't go through with it. I was just physically not capable of doing the deed because of some expression, something just one thing would just burn that bridge to intimacy.
She could have been doing that to get in Elliot's pants, and instead it drove him out the door.
Oh, I remember another woman, I met her in synagogue, but it was during a time when I was following Dennis Prager, and Dennis Prager would just pour out his contempt at people who watched a lot of TV. And so I asked this beautiful woman who was a great fit for me physically, and she had a wonderful sarcastic sense of humor, and I asked her how much TV she watched, and she said, about 8 hours a day. And I only realized in retrospect that she was just pulling my leg and being sarcastic. But I could not date her because she said she watched 8 hours of TV a day. But she was just playing around. But because I was so focused on the Dennis Prager hero system that she was immediately rendered, a member of the out group for me, even though she was a beautiful Persian Jewess, simply because she said something sarcastic and I didn't get it.
Yeah, you missed out, Luke. You missed out.
It's the insane veneration of a particular hero system that I was using to provide myself a foundation, because I didn't have a real foundation of normal sense of ease with myself and with other people. And so I was trying to construct a foundation for a good life, built upon bits and pieces that I took from Dennis Prager. I was trying to build myself up by holding to this elevated morality system. I was trying to hold on to myself, even though at the time I was just immersed in reporting on the porn industry. And so I felt myself hurtling downhill, in very dangerous ways. And so I was trying to clasp on to something to retain my sanity.
Hey, how many people would you say that put on this exterior of, walking all the correct opinions? How many people would you say that like behind closed doors, you've realized actually don't, hold to all the airs and graces of society? Is it
a great deal?
Lot?
I mean, as much as any other hypocrisy. So many liberal intellectuals I know, say highly disparaging things about black people in private. Like they'll talk about their frustration with teaching some, unintelligent black students.
So I guess the lesson would be then, like for instance, when I'm watching these guys that you're playing who are walking up to the line and saying, look, they're walking up to that line and saying the truth that is acceptable. I shouldn't take away, I'm frustrated with you, you liberal cuck. I should take away from that. You're dog whistling to me what you actually think, shouldn't I?
Well, I think you should take away that they're doing the best they can in a particular circumstance. So the more prestigious your position, the more you have to adhere to careful critical discourse, right? The quicker you'll be removed from your position. And so the more they have to lose, the more careful they have to be. And so one has to recognize their position and how they're doing the best they can in a challenging position. And if we were in their position, we would not be more frank than they are. Like, we wouldn't throw away our marriage and our job and our career and our social standing just to give blunt truth about female Secret Service agents.
No, we wouldn't. Interesting about Trump security as well. Just before I go, I was looking up. I had this vague memory from 2016 about Trump's own private security, that this was a clash. You may even have been talking about it way back, like I know, just after Trump was elected.